Hello, good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Siambo. Top stories in the news tonight. Super Ken interred as President EDGAR LUNGU declares 28th April KK Day. And UPND'S HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to ensure free education in honor of KK. Politicians challenged to honor Workers' Manifesto once elected into office. In international news, Haiti President JOVENEL MOԻSE assassinated in middle of the night attack at his home. And in sports news, MICHO targets winning start to COSAFA outing.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kapalonga Road, Lusaka.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday at 17:45 hours.
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Camnet TV offers a wide range of advertising spaces for motion adverts, preaching programs, social media advertising, studio facilities, productions, programs, and documentaries. Grow your business with us at Camnet TV. For advertising space, visit our offices at plot number 396/100, Ibex Hill, Kablonga Road. Call 0962 965 883 or 0979 753-010, or you can email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom.
Hello once again, and now the news in detail. Zambia's Republican President Edgar Lungu has declared 28th of April as a national holiday in honor of Zambia's first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who has since been put to rest. Speaking at the church service of late Dr. Kaunda, President Lungu says 28th April 1924 is the day Dr. Kaunda was born and that there is need to honor the legacy of Zambia's founding father. And son to the late President Panji Kaunda says every activity government is undertaking to ensure that his father is put to rest has been agreed upon by the family. Dr. Kaunda died on the 17th of June 2021 from pneumonia at the age of 97. We have details in the following report.
The church service of the late Zambia's first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, was attended by many officials, among them former Mozambique President Joaquim Chissano. And Zambia's Republican President, Dr. Edgar Lungu, has since declared Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's birthday, which falls on the 28th of April, as a national holiday in honor of Zambia's founding father. President Lungu says Dr. Kaunda was a visionary leader who wanted to ensure that not only Zambia but Africa as a whole became liberated.
I can only urge each and every one of us to emulate the character and good ways of Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. Let us all emulate him by being patriotic, and by this I mean we should all love our country, Zambia. Despising your country each day and each night is not patriotism. Patriotism means doing what is good for a country. Patriotism means making a contribution to the well-being of your country. Patriotism means speaking well of your country. To this effect, fellow countrymen, I, Edgar Lungu, President of the Sovereign Republic of Zambia, now declare April 28th, the birthday of His Excellency Dr. Kaunda, a national holiday of Zambia.
And in a twist of events, United Independent Party President Bishop Trevor Mwamba in his speech advocated that Dr. Kaunda be buried next to his wife as this was his wish. But son to Dr. Kaunda, Panji Kaunda, says his family is grateful for the effort that government has put in to ensure that his father is given a decent send-off.
So come together and join your brothers and sisters and use the bit to calm down your country. We've seen since he died, this parents, those of us who were trying to beg other views and we calm down. And it's a hope from now onwards, we shall move together as one Zambia, one nation.
We've waited down and my two brothers who were going to the first one second, but then the younger and we throw them out of the air. But at the end of the day, I still don't know. Our holiday will never go as the whole is designed. As I look over, I understood that he wanted us to appreciate the beauty and magnificence of our own country first.
And United Church of Zambia Synod Bishop Reverend Sidney HICHILEMA has called on all Zambians to love the Lord, as that will enable them to love one another and desist from any political violence.
Because we want to be one accord in this nation, and nation which is declared a Christian nation. It is His love for God that we made today to strive to root the kingdom of the children of Israel. Your Excellency and distinguished citizens of this great nation, if you want, if we can continue to fear the Almighty God.
Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The body of Zambia's late former president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, has been buried in Lusaka at Embassy Park 21 days after his death. Despite being put to rest at the presidential burial site, yesterday there were some issues between his family and the state over the final resting place. We have more in this report.
The body of Zambia's founding father and the country's first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, has been buried in Lusaka at Embassy Park after 21 days since his death. Dr. Kaunda died on the 17th of June 2021 at the age of 97. After his death, the head of state, President EDGAR LUNGU, declared 3 weeks of national mourning. His body was also taken around the country for members of the public to pay their respect. His body was also taken around the country for members of the public to pay their last respect. Among those at the burial service was the head of state, different dignitaries, and former Mozambique president was also in attendance. And 21 gun salutes were done in his honor. And this was a message from the family.
Mr. President, the Kaunda family is greatly humbled by this spontaneous demonstration of love which Dr. Kaunda himself abundantly shared with the people of Zambia in everything that he did, said, and thought. The family also acknowledges with thanks receipt of messages of condolences from within and beyond Zambia.
Dr. Kaunda, popularly known as Keke or Super Ken, rose to prominence as a key figure in what was then Northern Rhodesia's independence movement from Britain In the 1950s, Dr. Kaunda, described by many as a selfless leader, fought against white minority rule in what was then Northern Rhodesia, took power after independence from Britain in 1964. Miriam Kayamba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition political leaders have described the late first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, as a hero who fought to unite Zambia as one despite having 72 tribes. Speaking shortly after the church service, United Party for National Development leader HAKAINDE HICHILEMA says Dr. Kaunda was a visionary leader who ensured that free education was attainable for all. Meanwhile, Heritage Party President Shalakateka has described Dr. Kaunda as a unifier who wanted to see a united Zambia as opposed to seeing brothers fight one another due to differences in tribe. And Democratic Party Vice President Judith Kabemba says Dr. Kaunda fought for a One Zambia, One Nation motto, which every citizen must strive to protect. We have details in the following report.
Many opposition leaders in Zambia spared their campaign time to attend the church service of the late Zambia's first Republican president. And speaking shortly after the church service, United Party for National Development leader HAKAINDE HICHILEMA says he will remember Dr. Kaunda for the tireless effort he made at ensuring that Zambians attend a free education.
Didn't segregate them. That's a lesson we learned. But more importantly, tried his best to develop the country so that people can have, basics in life. I think that's what we need to emulate. That's what Zambians should look forward to. A country where it offers opportunities for all, so we can live Dr. Kaunda's life, so we can keep his legacy forever.
And Heritage Party President Shalakateka says Zambians have a lot to learn from the way President Kaunda managed the affairs of the country without leaving anyone behind.
Find that after he lost the elections, in fact, even before he lost the elections, he was able to bring the elections forward because he was looking at the peace of the country. And he brought the elections forward. And he lost those elections. Of course, he tried to come back, but we see that he saw life beyond the elections. He saw beyond the presidency and became a senior statesman, which is way above a president.
And Party of National Unity President Hive Hamadudu says whoever the Zambian people who elect as president should be respected, as was the case when President Kaunda lost power. Meanwhile, Democratic Party Vice President Judith Kabemba wants Zambians to uphold the One Zambia, One Nation motto as a way of honoring Dr. Kaunda.
Children of Kaunda, and we have become what we are today because of his patriotism, his love for the people, and uplifting the people wherever they were, to become what they could be in life. You know, under Dr. Kaunda, we were given an opportunity, wherever we were in the country, to rise to every level we wanted through the socio-economic ladder, especially free education. And therefore, we mourn a true patriot, a man who laid a true foundation.
Principle to never trade Zambia, even for leadership. I want to believe that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda did a lot for this country. He went through a lot to make sure that we got our independence. But even after going through everything that he went through, he made sure that when it was time for him to leave the stage, he did leave the stage.
Meanwhile, scores of Lusaka residents lined up the street to pay their last respect to Dr. Kaunda. Those spoken to had this to say.
He gave us free education. He had no segregation despite the tribe we are from.
Kwanza madezi amene tinali kukula ise pamene kunali Kaunda tinali kulemekeza makolo ndiponso kulemekeza angankale imfa niyamika kwambiri kuti lero napezekapo pano pasiku la lero kuti nione kuti batate banga bayikiwa tibayamikira Kaunda kuti mtendere wamene taona uyu ni leve ndiponso mtendere wamene uyu upitilize.
He has this motto, these words of love and unity. We are always in his mouth, and we are now going through that. That's why we are even achieving because of his love and unity words.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Healing Word Ministries presiding Pastor Moses Chilwa has encouraged Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's son to take up the leadership and unity mantle both at family and national level. Pastor Chilwa, who joined the nation in celebrating the life of Zambia's founding father, Dr. David Kaunda, says KK has not been fully celebrated as he should. Pastor Chilwa was speaking to Camnet TV Tuesday at KK's residence and Wednesday at Anglican Cathedral, where a church service was conducted for the late former president. Meanwhile, Victoria Chilwa took time to share her personal experience of Dr. Kaunda's influence on her life. We have more in this report.
After paying their last respect to Zambia's founding father, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, yesterday, Healing Word International Ministries presiding Pastor Moses and his wife, Pastor Victoria Chilwa, has joined the rest of the country in honoring the iconic Dr. Kenneth Kaunda as is put to rest today, July 7th, 2021. Pastor Chilwa has re-echoed the need for Zambians to emulate the unity and peace that the late Dr. Kenneth Kaunda demonstrated.
Just unity and peace. Unity and peace. That's a great lesson. Thank you.
Pastor Victoria Chilwa has further described Dr. Kenneth Kaunda as a selfless man and father of all.
Dr. Kaunda was a selfless man. He received a vision from God, which he implanted in all of us, as in living a peaceful life, putting others first and ourselves last. He had a great moral fiber, and we have to continue with that one, respecting every human being, no matter their disposition, and that none of us should ever think of ourselves more highly than others, and that we should be on track. One thing that probably as a Zambian community we should have pursued was that Dr. Kaunda should have received the Nobel Peace Prize for having fought for the struggle of independence of so many African countries and putting an end to this apartheid.
The clergy has therefore encouraged the family to emulate their father and take up the mantle to fostering peace. His presence may not be with us, but his spirit of love, unity, and peace shall keep reigning in Zambian people. May his soul indeed rest in peace. Alex Chimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Christian Coalition says the burial of Zambia's founding father, Kenneth Kaunda, should not put an end to the message of unity in the country. Christian Coalition President Charles Mwape, in an exclusive interview with Camnet News, states that Dr. Kaunda's burial needs to be seen as the planting of a seed which should be allowed to germinate by the country standing together in unity. We have more in this report.
Tiyende pamozi ndi mutima umo is the message Zambia's founding father Kenneth Kaunda is most remembered for. Emphasizing on the One Zambia, One Nation slogan to be upheld, Dr. Kaunda always believed in the spirit of unity. As the country's founding father is put to rest, the Christian Coalition has implored the church to continue calling for the spirit of unity in the country. Organization President Charles Mwape says the spirit of unity should not be buried along with the country's founding father.
Today, as a nation and a continent, we are planting a seed in the name of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. It is a seed that we believe as believers and as Christians that it must germinate. In germinating it, we need to understand that when we plant maize, it must be maize. We are planting a seed of peace and unity. The seed that we are planting today in the name of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda believed in loving your neighbor as you love yourself. As a continent and as a nation, we will appreciate that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda was not only a leader for this country, but was a leader for the continent, who believed that a unity of purpose is a major stakeholder in the national development.
The coalition president has expressed worry that the country is today divided on political and tribal lines.
Let us continue to be united, believing in the spirit of one Zambia, one nation, bringing all 73 tribes together as a one nation and one Zambia. Therefore, it will be betrayal to the spirit of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda when we continue dividing each other on a political basis, on a tribal basis. We believe in the Christian coalition that let us rise beyond the political affiliation as a nation and as Zambian.
Dr. Kaunda, 97, left Zambians on 17th June 2021. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Shop owners in Lusaka's Central Business District joined the nation in celebrating the life of the founding father by strictly following government's directive that no shops should open on KK's burial day. A check by Camnet News this afternoon found that most shops closed in honor of the fallen hero. Zambia is Wednesday a global focus as the country buries its first Republican president and one of the few African freedom fighters. We have more in this report.
A somber mood characterized Lusaka district on Wednesday as the country put its founding father to rest. This day was declared a public holiday and citizens are encouraged to reflect on Kenneth Kaunda's fight for the country's liberty, among other freedom fighters. Zambia's first Republican president, Kenneth Kaunda, died on 17th June 2021 at the age of 97 and has been highly celebrated across the globe. In honor of the country's founding father, a directive was given by government that businesses should be closed on his burial day. A visit by Camnet TV News to Lusaka Central Business District found that the place was almost deserted as it was lifeless, unlike on most days. Many businesses were closed in compliance with government's directive, while a scattered few did not comply as they decided to continue business as usual. Dr. Kaunda's burial has been attended by various dignitaries and heads of states who have come to show solidarity to the country. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia, CAZ, has challenged political parties to emulate the late Dr. Kenneth Kaunda by giving Zambians the responsibility to run the local economy. CAZ President Lawrence Makumbi says Dr. Kaunda demonstrated true patriotism by making sure that industries were being run by the indigenous Zambians. Mr. Makumbi says whichever political party will form the next government must ensure that citizens cease to be spectators in the running of national affairs. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Makumbi explains that Zambians have the capacity to run the cleaning industry, but wonders why foreign firms are being allowed to dominate the sector.
In his tenure of office was thriving, it was controlled, it was run by Zambians. We Zambians thrived in that Kenneth Kaunda gave us the opportunity to make sure that we do all the cleaning in the country. ZCCM, all the mines were cleaned by Zambians. Zambia Airways was cleaned by Zambians. MOＩSE stores, ZCBC were cleaned by Zambians. Everything we had in Zambia was cleaned by Zambians because it was deliberate policy by KK to make sure that only Zambians do the jobs that we can do as a people. So we thrived, and right now we are celebrating his life because he economically liberated cleaning entrepreneurs in his tenure of time, in his tenure of office. And now we are calling upon all these presidential aspirants and parties that they must emulate what KK did. They must emulate him to the letter, that they must make sure that Zambians thrive, Zambians run the economy. Let us do everything that we can do as Zambians where we have the capabilities, like in the cleaning sector. We can clean our dirt, hence give us the opportunity. Even as you campaign now, make sure that you campaign based on what you are going to do for the Zambian people and emulate KK.
Kaunda Square residents have joined the rest of the nation in celebrating the iconic father of the nation, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. The residents have recognized this day as a special day to spare and lessen activities in honor of the founding father. Speaking with Camnet TV, Kaunda Square residents have shared their personal experience and lessons learned from the late first Republican president. We have details in this report.
with flags flown at half-mast, while his body was taken around the country for the public to pay their last respects. Today, the 7th of July 2021, Zambia bids farewell as the founding father is put to rest at presidential burial site. Like the rest of the country, Kaunda Square residents have joined the nation in celebrating the life of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Tirira batate batu baja batate batu atisunga tukumbuka pamene tenze kuma primary pa independence benzo kutetea Coca-Cola mabanzi tinadieko na unga wa makuponi awe tizawa misinga batate batu chokera pasiku yale jambo tacha chankala oke sitina mfere cha bebu ino pamene ba mwalira bakaonda Pascola Zambia ni kunkala cha be unique tena kunkala bokwili sana. Tise one Zambia one nation.
Zanga palma taxi drivers na mbele musha na manjila. Mani mone la cha be so che vintu mvoyi lira onse tidiche stand still. So hapa niunga cha be nani sina mbele musha pamoja na wazanga cha be taxi drivers sina mbele musha sembe kwanza kufika kusembe tinafika kumanja pa ushu stivera musha ndipo nini ngabakumbukile kwa Kenneth Kaunda ni watate watu wache banatsenze wanasenzela chalo manini so this the continue once my leaders tinkali pamoja one Zambia one nation.
While following the proceeding of the burial program on television, senior citizens narrates of the old UNIP days.
Muyunipi muliro waiga butabo wapya so ndizo tinaruchita panthawe ya Kaunda ndiso ulira ko matiririra muli mulungu kuti zinchito zamene anachita uja munthu wachita ntchito zabwino pa dziko lino lapansi mu Africa ni monse chifukwa anatiuza kuti ino dziko silazungu nya munthu wachikanda chakuda so watikonzera ndiponso wakonzana vana vathu omwe amene kunalibe olo wasiya watisiya mu mtendere ndiponso wasiyaso mu mtendere woyenderera ku vana vathu.
Indeed, Tiende Pamozi is a song the nation shall remember among other unifying factors that KK demonstrated.
Mtima umu mayusitieni amaitieni mwi limba moyo tuloke Zambezi ndi mtima umu tuloke Zambezi ndi mtima umu tuloke Zambezi ndi mtima umu.
May the life of our founding father rest in peace. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The non-governmental gender organization coordinating Council NGOCC has described the process of printing the ballot papers in Dubai as inclusive so far and participatory. The NGOCC Executive Director Ngwase Mwale says the printing company, Al Gurea, looks adequately resourced to undertake the assignment according to their terms of reference. The women's movement says with the necessary investment and orientation of local expertise with regards to ballot printing, opportunities for Zambia remain great. The organization is also of the view that all political actors need to invest in the whole election cycle by planning to observe all key electoral processes, including the ballot printing, as this will not only enhance the credibility of the elections, but also ensure the acceptability of the election results. You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news.
You are, dear esteemed customers. As Zamtel, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 benefits amounting to over 500%, and it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yato benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yato offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. Zamtel customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yato benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yato benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yato benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
LUNGU and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date: 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges: 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time: 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time: 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The opposition United Party for National Development is disappointed with the police for failing to take any action against suspected Patriotic Front cadres who have gone on rampage, destroying their billboards and campaign posters. UPND National Deputy Youth Chairperson Fines Pumulo is concerned that only their billboards and posters are being vandalized while the PF's campaign materials remain intact. Mr. Pumulo tells Camnet News that if the situation persists, they will be forced to be conducting citizens' arrest.
We are very much disappointed with the conduct of the Zambia police. We have discovered that there are incidents where the PF thugs are vandalizing our billboards and the police are watching. And to our surprise, the police now are going around, even here in Lusaka CDB, protecting the PF billboards. When the PF thugs are vandalizing our billboards, the police are just watching. We want to appeal to Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja that please let your officers be professional in the way they're executing their duties. This is uncalled for. How is it possible that the police are watching while the PF cadres are vandalizing our posters, our billboards? But they have now instructed the police to be guarding the PF billboards 24/7. We will use our own means now how to protect our billboards.
United Party for National Development spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has accused the ruling Patriotic Front of engaging in vote buying in the build-up to the polls. Mr. Mwetwa claims that the PF has been donating 1,000 kwacha per funeral and wedding, adding that they are also providing 250,000 kwacha to football teams. He has wondered where the PF was to start distributing handouts to would-be voters during the campaign period.
Hiding this money. They have not taken this money to hospitals. We are talking about Choma General Hospital here. It's a general hospital by name, but it doesn't have the requisite equipment to meet the tertiary level, status for which it should have been commissioned, because this new wing was constructed by the MMD and was completed in 2010. To date, it has never been commissioned, because they know that each time they want to commission it, the doctors tell them that, but the equipment to fit here as a general hospital, you have not yet funded us. That is what this money which they are now giving headmen 2,000, they are giving at every funeral 1,000. That money, if they had taken it to the general hospital to bring equipment so that those who get sick go and get cured and not die, we would have appreciated what they were doing. Unlike now where they want to buy their way. We are asking people, for us who are members of parliament, we kept calm, we kept the faith. In the midst of plenty of money and vehicles, we stood against Bill 10.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has dismissed allegations purporting its vice president endorsed President Edgar Lungu on social media platforms. The story allegedly suggests that Mr. Ruben Lifuka, Transparency International vice president and TIZ immediate past chapter president, endorsed the candidature of President Edgar Lungu and commended his fight against corruption. Speaking with Camnet TV, TIZ chapter president Mr. Sampa Kalunga has clarified that at no point has the Vice President, Mr. Lifuka, ever endorsed any presidential candidate, nor commended President Lungu's fight against corruption. He further stated that TIZ's mandate is to be an anti-corruption and good governance activist at different levels of society and not endorsing any political candidates.
Transparency International Zambia has been made aware of some social media story that ran on the 6th July 2021, purporting that Transparency International former chapter president Mr. Lifuka had commended President Edgar Lungu for his fight against corruption and also endorsed him for the 2021 elections. We want to clearly and categorically say that these are fabricated stories. This was never said. Mr. Lifuka never commended, never endorsed President Edgar Lungu. Transparency International Zambia is an anti-corruption and good governance activist, and our role is not to promote, is not to endorse any political candidate at any level at all. Our role is generally to see that we fight electoral malpractices.
The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions has urged political parties participating in the August 12 general elections to honor the workers' manifestos by demonstrating how they will address the plight of workers when given the mandate to govern. ZCTU General Secretary Cosmas Mkoka tells Camnet TV that politicians need to demonstrate how they will resolve the buying power for workers, which he says has been eroded by the prevailing high cost of living. And Mr. Mkoka says politicians must explain how they will advance the rights of workers in the country when given the mandate to govern. We have more in this report.
It has been a tense political environment in the build-up to the August 12 general elections. Just like in previous elections, this year's polls have not been devoid of political violence, lawlessness on the road, and character assassinations. Unique things have also happened, including the banning of campaigns in some districts, including Lusaka, due to political violence. As the political environment was heating up, the death of the country's founding father, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, quenched the political temperature through the observance of 21 days of national mourning. The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions reminds political parties participating in this year's elections to put the interests of the workers first by demonstrating how they will implement the Workers' Manifesto. ZCTU General Secretary Cosmas Mkoka underscores the need to reduce the escalating cost of living, which he says is above the workers' buying power.
By this time we launched it, where we were looking at specific demands of the buying power of the workers' salaries and the certain rights of the workers. Rights to belong, freedom of association.
Mr. Mkoka says safeguarding the plight of the media practitioners is among priorities.
When you look at the media in Zambia now, it's vulnerable. They are not represented. Most of them are stopped from joining unions. But we are even in lobby under these circumstances to have an SI to regulate the conditions of the media. Domestic workers, we have done it. So the next course of action is you, the media. It's on top, on the agenda. The just ended tripartite, we talked about it. So even this time, if we talked about it, you still have to look at such freedoms. So I wish we could also see these things being echoed also by our politicians.
It is with hope that proposals being advanced by the labor movement will be taken seriously by politicians. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Some residents of Lusaka's Material constituency have complained over erratic water supply in the area. The residents interviewed by Camnet TV have called on the water utility company to address the situation, which is getting worse by the day. Details in the following report.
It has been proven that in the recent years, poor water and sanitation and hygiene are the main causes of infections like cholera and diarrhea. And inadequate water supply continues to be the leading cause of death of children under the age of 5. Material constituency of Lusaka is experiencing water challenges. I took time to talk to residents to understand their views.
The thing which I want to talk about is water. Complaining. Pamwamba pama tanks kuhiro side manzi siapo gozi kahiu kanja smart ganzira kwepini kumchinga police manzi siafika ekafika 05 kwenda 14 what paka nasi mutiganzira bichanga dandao so mfunga matona ife wantu bantu wanzambia wa nation wanakamba kudada but
some of them have disclosed that water comes as early as 05 hours, thereby compiling them to wake up very early, thus inconveniencing them.
North, man's 24 hours, sometimes 3 days. Man's government timavutika kwambosakira abantu kwati kapena kupenangu yaliko wendopemba kwambolipira futi ndedandaulo yatu.
Poor sanitation and contaminated water can lead to the transmission of diseases and an increase in the number of mortality rates. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Some women in Lusaka have urged pregnant women to avoid giving birth at home, but rather at health facilities, as this will help protect the lives of both the mother and the baby. The women who disclosed this in an interview with Camnet News that it is vital for women to give birth at health facilities, as this will reduce on mortality and morbidity rates among pregnant women. We have more in this report.
Despite health authorities discouraging traditional birth attendants from conducting deliveries at home and encouraging all women to give birth at the clinic under skilled care, many women still give birth at home. However, some women in Lusaka have called on pregnant women to desist from giving birth at home, as this can be very dangerous for both the mother and the unborn baby.
Muntu aliyense ngatankala na futo kumafunika ali mmanja mwa doctors kaili kupapa mzimayi kumankhala pakati pa imfa na umoyo, so nchofunikira kuti mzimayi abwera kuchipatala ngati apapa kukankhala any problem kapena milopa yachoka maningi, ma doctors wazazi bamomsungira, ma doctors wazazi bamomchitira treat, ma doctors wazachita stop ija blood kuti chitabwanji ichoke.
They say in order to avoid complications, it is best for women to seek medical attention during labor, urging them to attend to both antenatal and postnatal services.
There are some conditions which are emergency. Take for instance, if the baby is bleached, you need to go for operations. And that's why at the hospital there's theaters and there are specialized doctors who can help you. So it's very important to give birth at the hospital. Sometimes the baby can come out with complications, but if there are specialist doctors, they are there to help us.
The reasons why pregnant women's preference for giving birth at home are not well understood. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
25 business premises in Lusaka have been closed due to non-compliance of COVID-19 measures that were recently put in place to curb the spread of COVID-19. The premises, which include bars, nightclubs and wholesale liquor outlets, were closed either for failure to operate within required operating standards or did not adhere to provided COVID-19 guidelines. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama says the multi-sectoral team would continue with closures and prosecutions as part of the response. And Zambia in the last 24 hours has recorded 67 new deaths, with Lusaka recording the highest at 20, followed by Eastern Province with 16 deaths. Dr. Malama expressed concern over the number of deaths and new infections coming out of Eastern Province, saying the province is too small to be recording such high numbers. He says the province has been recording high numbers of new cases, severe cases and deaths. And Dr. Malama says out of the 6,485 tests conducted in the last 24 hours, 1,619 new confirmed cases were recorded, representing a positivity rate of 25%. He added that of the 67 deaths recorded, the majority of people that died did not die of any underlying conditions, but the disease itself.
Many Zambians are affected by the present economy. The prices of commodities are climbing, yet salaries and wages remain stagnant. At this point, it may be imperative for Zambians to develop some habits so that they can cope with the current situation till things get better. Analyst has therefore advised members of the public to adjust their lifestyle to suit the harsh economic times currently being witnessed. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview, Mambo Hamaundu says people need to make adjustments, especially when it comes to their spending habits. Mr. Hamaundu says there is no harm in an individual downgrading his living standards in order to be able to survive, as it is pointless to maintain a certain lifestyle when one cannot afford it, such as expensive TV subscription, renting an expensive house or taking children to expensive schools, adding that people should always ensure that they live within their means.
If you look at your circumstances at household level and see how you can really adjust. You know, you could be staying in a rented house where you're paying maybe 4,000 kwacha. If you can find a place where you'll be paying less, that is one way of adjusting. So you have to look at how you can lower your costs. And I think it's very important to be practical about it. Many times as society, as people, we tend to take this position to say, if I adjust, I'll be seen to be downgrading. But if the reality informs you to say that you need to downgrade. I mean, there is no fear. Do the right thing because you're saving the future. Because if you continue staying in a 4,000 kwacha house when your ability actually says you should be staying in a 2,000 kwacha house, you are killing yourself.
He further urged people to plan ahead by involving their families to avoid social shock.
This entails discussing and informing your family on the circumstances. You know, they need to be in the know so that you will avoid as much as possible a social shock, because others can suffer from a social shock when you all of a sudden say, I'm moving you from this school which they've gotten used to, you are taking them into another school. So it's about adjustment, it's about talking to one another, it's about saying this is the reality.
The economy of Zambia fell into a deep recession due to the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the African Development Bank outlook. Real GDP contracted by an estimated 4.9% in 2020 after growing by 4.0% in 2018 and 1.9% in 2019. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
A financial analyst, Mambo Hamaundu, has advised members of the public to adjust their lifestyles to suit the harsh economic times currently being experienced. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview, Mr. Hamaundu says people need to adjust their spending habits because every coin counts. Mr. Hamaundu says there is no harm in an individual downgrading his living standards in order to be able to survive. We have more in this report. Former Kansanshi Member of Parliament Anthony Mumba has charged that the benefits from government borrowing cannot happen overnight, hence the need for people to be patient. Speaking during a live program on Camnet TV dubbed Frank on Camnet, the former lawmaker has cited investments towards the improvement of the road sector as long-term undertakings whose benefits are good for the nation. Mr. Mumba says the benefits will of such an investment trickle down to revenue collection needed for government operations. Meanwhile, the former lawmaker has further charged that it was therefore important that a person who has served in office for a longer time and understands the economic investments made can be better placed to handle the country's economic situation.
Business to grow, Ambassador, you have to have an injection into the business. When you look at the money that was invested in energy, for example, I'll take energy because this is one success story that people are easily forgetting. The money that was invested in the energy sector, do you think it will produce the results for the repayment immediately or into the future? This will be into the future. So businesses that want to be set in manufacturing will highly depend on energy. Exporting of energy will bring in revenue. But to build up a power plant or to build up all these things that have taken place, it's not a one-day job. It's not a 2-year job. You find minimum 2.5 years to 3 years. When do you start getting the results? In the longer term into the future. Investments that governments make with money that they borrow are very much long-term investments. It's like in the mining sector. Investors in the mining sector know that the first 5 years will be purely just putting equipment together and so on. Another 5 years will deal with operational teething. We'll start making money in the 15th year. It's the same thing with government money.
You're watching Camnet TV News. We take another break. We'll be back after the break.
I was born in Wengwa in a grass-thatched house. I went to school barefoot and then to secondary school. University camp, all of these on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia. Many people ask me questions. Why have you continued to seek public office? You've been arrested 15 times. This fight is not about HAKAINDE. It's about 18 million Zambians who want a better life. I'm standing for the presidency of this country because I know and I believe that this country is so rich and yet its people live in poverty. I am standing for that child to have an opportunity to go to school the way I did myself. It's time for change. Zambians have suffered enough.
I'm HAKAINDE HICHILEMA.
I invite you to take my hand. Together, we will build a better land for every Zambian.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Kumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine. 2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Welcome back. In international news, the world has been taken by shock after Haitian President Jovenel MOISE was mortally wounded and his wife shot during an armed attack in the early hours of Wednesday at their private residence above the hills of Port-au-Prince, as confirmed by the country's acting Prime Minister, Claude Joseph. Several sources told the Miami Herald that MOISE was killed during the attack and that his wife, Martine MOISE, was shot. In a statement from the Prime Minister's office, Joseph said the attack occurred around 1 a.m. Wednesday and some of the unidentified assailants spoke Spanish. The head of state the statement said was fatally injured. First Lady Martine MOΗSE was wounded and is being treated, the statement said. Here's a roundup of international news.
It's not the kind of news many Zimbabweans want to hear. On Tuesday, the country's information ministry announced a return to strict lockdown rules. Sector Minister Monica Mutvangwa said the measures are to combat a resurgence of COVID-19 amid vaccine shortages. To try to contain the spread, most people must stay at home. Similar to restrictions adopted in March last year when towns and cities became almost deserted. Mutvangwa added that people will now need letters from employers to justify why they must move out of their neighborhoods with immediate effect. She said, quote, stiffer penalties will be imposed for violations, including revoking the licenses of offending businesses. Infections have soared in recent weeks despite a night curfew, reduced business hours, localized lockdowns in hotspot areas, and a ban on intercity travel.
Well, the whole country is in the doubt today. The announcement that the Dominican Republic president announced that it would shut down the border after this news, and also the international airport of Port-au-Prince has been closed. So it's a real doubt because the problem in Haiti, so far we don't know who is ruling. According to the Haitian constitution, when the president cannot assume the power, it's the president of the cassation courts that take charge of the country. But the problem is the Haiti right now has no president of cassation court because he died in June of coronavirus. So this murder of the president, Jovenel MOΗSE, is really putting the whole country in doubt because we have also the gang that are leading and totally controlling some part of the capital that is blocking the whole circulation to the half south of the country. So today will be a really tricky day for Haitian and the people living in Haiti because no one has a really clear idea what's going to happen.
You know, I assume you read the press release that came from the Prime Minister's office, like I did too. And one of the things that struck out to me was the fact that they mentioned that some of the people who carried out this attack were speaking Spanish.
Exactly. It's a whole doubt right now. It's like, who are those people who came to the presidential house and they were speaking Spanish? It's a real question mark for us. We have no clue whether they are, who's going to be behind this attack and this assassination. It is a real question today.
And talk us, tell us a little bit about the president who has now been assassinated, Jovenel MOΗSE, because did he appear to have a lot of enemies given that he came from a business background?
It is not a business background that made him popular. It was unpopular with his mandate, I would say. Some people were not recognizing his power since February because it's a question about when the election have been done and then have been redone the year after because of the fraud that was suspected. So it was not a popular president. Some people were acting like trying to oust him for long. But this assassination is really strong, really news, and it is not the common opposition that was like just asking for him to leave and to be judged for whatever issue on the corruption he might have been facing. This news of this assassination is it's a total different scale for what was the current situation in Port-au-Prince.
Exactly, because this is not like protest. This is an assassination, as you said.
Definitely not. The protesters in the opposition were protesting for his ousting and his judgment, nothing more.
And you are based in Haiti most of the time. You're talking to me now from Paris. If you could just tell us, how protected is the president's residence?
Well, the president's residence is protected like every presidential houses. It has a lot of security in the entrance of the neighborhood, and it has close guards also. And the residence is in a dead end, so you can just reach this house from one point and not another. So it's a really tricky issue to know how these groups of people with, I'm sure, heavily harmed, were able to access this residency.
Storm just to the west of Cedar Key by about 35 miles or so, but should make landfall here in the next hour or so on the northern part here of Florida. But as we talked to Dr. Ken Graham from the National Hurricane Center yesterday, there is no such thing as only a tropical storm. This storm will produce winds 60 to 65 miles per hour in an area that is saturated from weeks of rain, and some of these trees will fall. Some of these things will come down on houses and power lines and maybe even your car. Winds right now aren't as strong as they will be because the storm is still offshore, but we have some gusts earlier today of around 40 to 45 miles per hour. The storm will eventually get very close to Savannah and Tybee and just west of Myrtle, and still a 40-mile-per-hour storm. So this is still going to pack a punch as it rolls over Georgia, as it rolls over South Carolina, and then on up toward Myrtle Beach and even Hampton Roads. So I know this isn't offshore and it's not gaining strength, but it still will have wind. Now, the biggest storm surge I've seen all night was about 2 feet so far. That doesn't mean it won't get higher because those winds are still pushing that water on to the shore.
We now have sports news. And in sports news, Polo coach Milutin Micho Shredejovic says his team will be looking to start strongly at the 2021 COSAFA Cup when they face Lesotho tomorrow at Wilson Stadium at 12 hours. In an interview with the Fars Media at Galvandale Stadium, Micho extolled his players for the camaraderie and commitment exhibited ahead of the tie. Micho says the team is looking to enter the competition in the best possible way with a win that could give it confidence ahead of the remaining matches. He added that after 10 days of work, he believes that the team has taken steps forward in order to have a tight defense and in order to not concede and to have a sharp creative attack so that talent and quality of the players is getting the team performances and results. Micho said the return of Mwene to the Chipolo Polo was meant to inspire younger players to aspire for greater levels of success in the game. That story brings us to the end of the news, but we'll take a look at the top stories once again. Super Ken interred as President Edgar Lungu declares 28th April KK holiday. UPND'S HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to ensure free education in honor of KK. Politicians challenged to honor workers' manifesto once elected into office. And in international news, Haiti President Jovenel MOISE assassinated in middle of the night attack at his home. And in sports news, MICHO targets winning start to COSAFA outing. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day coming from Matthew 7 verse 24, and it reads, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a sensible man who built his house on the rock." On that note, we come to the end of our news. Thanks for watching. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.